Welcome back. I'm here talking with Yachiyo Nakamura, and we're talking about Uniquease, and we've talked about what we're doing here in the Philippines, but you said recently, just last month, you went back to Japan and formed an NPO, a non-profit organization, Uniquease Japan, right?
Right.
And the purpose of that is?
Is supporting the Uniquease Philippines.
Okay.
Because our youth who cannot go back to school, financial problem. So we would like to send those students, the working students, to go back to school.
Okay, and back to school, you mean of primary school, secondary school, or?
Well, some of them haven't graduated from the high school.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah.
Yes, high school or the college as
yeah,
well.
there's a very high percentage of kids that don't get even through secondary school, right?
Right,
something as high as maybe 70 or 80% in many cases for public school, public school people. In fact, that's what Raleigh and I were talking about on the radio today, and trying to come up with systems that are maybe alternative to public schooling or whatever to help them work through. And that's one of the things you're doing here as well,
that's
right?
And then also some organizations are providing the alternative learning system.
Right, alternative learning,
informal school.
Right.
So I'm thinking one of our boys can go back to that alternative learning system so that he can get the A&E exam test in October next year.
I see.
If he passes, he can get the graduation.
Okay, so it's like a GED in the United States.
Right.
I don't know if they have an equivalent in Japan or not. I don't know if they have a...
We have a Daiken.
Daiken? Daiken? Okay,
yes, in Japan.
Yeah, so, and that is, I'm a big fan of alternative learning because, especially here in the Philippines where you have a really high number of poverty children, and what would you call marginal families,
almost
and that sort of
half of population would be less below 22 years old.
Right.
So we have to educate those
people.
Yeah,
and to have them feel like their life is over because they didn't get that opportunity to do that is really tough. And so we're alternative learning. Most of that is what done by NGOs
or like at the Miss Korea's organization.
Yeah, her organization as well, right?
And they provided based on in cooperation with the educational ministry or something.
I see. And so the idea is they can do some alternative schooling.
That's right.
Study for the
for
test
10 months or something.
and then be able to have a deal. But how about the curriculum of those alternative schools? Are they like the regular school of teaching a lot of things you don't need, or are they about the things that they could use to work in your organization or to work in Cree's organization to be able to function?
Right. They hire the teachers who has a license, pass the exam, right? And then they're going to do the module type. They have a kind of a text.
I see.
book.
Okay, so they have a module
That's
to work
right.
from.
And then they're going to solve the problems or something, and the exam style, so that the students can get used to receiving the exam in October every year.
Oh, so it's only given once a year?
That's what I heard.
Oh, I see. Okay. Now, your NPO in Japan, you want to help finance, is mostly financing, or you said something about you're going to be sending, or you did send this last 3 years.
Right. In fact,
interns who come.
Yes, that's right. We have so far 35 interns from United States, Philippines, and then Japan. Mainly Japanese university students can be our interns, and then they go back to Japan, and then they're going to help us as well.
Oh, that's great, because the interns, then that gives them, from Japan, that gives them a great chance to practice English and do all the other things when they're here.
Well, in fact, they speak Japanese though there.
When they're here, right?
Here, yes.
Yeah, well,
English,
they speak to each other, but
that's
when they're here, they speak English, right? But there it'd be all Japanese, of course.
Right.
And so the idea is that you're going to try to build support, and the more of the interns that come here and they go back, then you've created a kind of a population of people that won't forget you, maybe.
Right. Yeah. What happened was that the interns wants to come over to the Philippines from Japan, and then they thought they could manage before coming, but then once they come, they discover that there's lots of difficulties. So we are thinking through the NPO Uniquease Japan, we're going to provide the orientation ahead.
Oh, that's great.
So that they can prepare, especially English, because we have to speak English through the job.
Right.
Because this is an international team.
Right.
And the number 2, business manner, including horenso,
Yeah.
which means informing, reporting,
Yeah.
or consulting. Those kind of business manner that they need to learn before coming, because this is a job in the Philippines.
So they're coming here to actually do a job, not
That's
just
right.
not just to hang out
No,
and spend time,
I'm
right?
pretty strict.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure you are, right? And when they come, are they usually between their sophomore and junior year, or junior and senior year, or what? How old are they generally?
You mean the interns,
The ones that come
right?
to the interns, yeah.
The average may be 21
Oh, okay.
years old. 20.
So they're in
the
their third or
students.
fourth year of college at that
Right,
time, then,
exactly.
right?
Third or fourth.
And that's a big difference from college students here. They start at 16,
Definitely,
you know,
yes,
which is
exactly.
that's going to end very soon because they'll be doing a 12-year.
And then I'm not the teacher. You know, you
yeah.
do this, you do this. I'm not going to do that.
Yeah.
What do you want to do? What's your purpose to come here? You know, that is the question, so that they can make things clear in their mind what they want to do. For example, some people are interested in fair trade,
Okay.
so that they can work with my youth to do the fair, like a coconut fair, for instance.
Okay.
They collect the coconuts products, and then they're going to have the kind of booth in our restaurant.
Oh, I
so
see.
that they can do.
So they can do all sorts of things.
Yes,
Oh, I see.
like that. They can make it into the project.
I
based
saw
on their interest.
on along the wall there you had a lot of minge or
Right.
crafts, you know, on the
Yes,
wall. Are those from
exactly.
here or
Fair
they
trade,
are?
yes.
They are. That's for fair trade, right?
Omiyage corner, which means
Omiyage,
like
okay,
the
yeah.
pasalubong corner.
Yeah, the pasalubong, right?
Yes, because what happened was unintentionally it happened in the beginning. Like we provide the healthy style of foods as a restaurant before. But because of the 11 organizations' partnership, they had the livelihood products as well. You know, in the community, people, the organizations give the technique or skills how to stitch or how to make the products, so that they had those products in the field, but they don't know where they can sell. Only 2 or 3 times a year they have a bazaar. And then that's the only thing that they could.
Well, this way it can be year-round because it's on
That's
your shelves
right. So
year-round. Then, huh?
why don't you set up your products here, since we have a space here? Then that was the beginning.
I'm trying to think of the English word for minge. I don't.
Minge.
It's local crafts. Local crafts, I
like
guess.
traditional.
Yeah, traditional crafts
right,
and
yes.
that sort of thing. Right. Yeah.
As well as the banana chips or
okay.
cookies, or even like the pasalubong.
Yeah, I
things.
saw a lot of the things there that
Right.
people could
we
go.
have 30 organizations.
So for all anybody out there that's on their way to the United States or something, stop in a Uniquease and take
right.
some pasalubong
Exactly.
to the U.S.
We
or
would like
whatever.
to expand
Yeah.
that kind of corner.
Yeah, banana
also.
chips and dried apricot, or not dried mangoes.
Dried mango,
mangoes
yes.
are really
in the
great.
future, hopefully we can find the organic banana chips or organic banana, dried mango or something.
I had a group on, or a guy and his wife that have made a business out of making jellies, out of mango jellies and things that are really good and unique again, because nobody makes mango jelly apparently, and mango jam, you know. So
especially Filipino image, right?
yeah,
like fruits.
yeah. So those might be something to put on your shelf as well. You know,
right, exactly.
Forget how many they're doing. Yeah, those are
Right.
good. And with the MPO, then you're going to be you will be able to not really recruit, but you'll have a function for deciding your interns who come then, rather than just picking them up willy-nilly off of from wherever.
So in a way, like we have a kind of a certain how to call that, like the projects on a regular basis in Japan eventually. We would like to prepare for that next following month. And then we're going to do the events as well. Especially, I'm going to bring one of the youth to Japan in November.
I was just going to ask you if you're taking going the other direction as well, right?
Right. Like we're gonna visit the universities in Japan, and we do the presentation also. At the same time, we're gonna sell those products from the Philippines, especially youth products.
I see. Okay.
Yes, because some of my youth are making their own products as well, such as a bracelet or you know, keychain, like a strap or something like that.
Okay.
So we're gonna sell those kind of things for the fundraising as well.
Okay, maybe you can be the new Amayoko.
I hope we can bring that much.
No, not quite that much, maybe. But yeah, to have the chance to make that sort of thing.
So
and this will be really exciting for.
Yes, that's
it's a girl or a boy or.
This time, girl.
A girl, yeah, yeah.
2 years ago, 2 boys and then 2 girls. I brought the 4 youth from Payatas.
How about the interns who come from Japan? Do they stay for how long? Just during their summer holidays from school, or
depends on the person. Like at the shortest, maybe 1 month. The longest, 8 months.
So they can stay out the whole year then,
something.
huh? They can do that.
Hopefully more than 6 months.
Yeah, that's better that way, right? Because 1 month is like
that's
you know,
right. They just get used to it and then go back.
Yeah, no, that's it. And
adjusting.
And they're not much used to you at that time
That's
because
right,
it's all your work and not theirs at that time.
Yes.
Yeah, I always found it takes a couple months to get people into the swing of things.
That's what we are requesting nowadays as an intern. Otherwise, they can be a volunteer.
And a volunteer just comes
if it's
and
short.
just hangs out for and does the things that you ask them to do.
That's right.
You know, I wanted to compliment you on your food. Everything is always done so daintily, and I've eaten, you know, over my lifetime lots of sushi and sashimi. I've never had sushi prepared on a ball with one little bite size on a ball before. And what's that called?
Temari sushi.
Temari
is, you know,
temari,
like
temari sushi. Right. Yeah, I've never had that before. You know, I was, you know, in places where we always ate a lot. And that's everything there is so dainty. You know, the main courses and things. And it's a gourmet experience to eat there, but not at gourmet prices. It's nice, and I hope people will go more often. And it's all for a good cause, because everybody who's working there is learning, and they're learning a livelihood.
That's right.
And they will eventually maybe be managing a Uniquease somewhere else.
Yes,
you know?
yeah. My dream is retirement, so I can let them do it, manage.
I have a little girl who's coming up on 11 years, so retirement doesn't look like I'm going to make it. You know, but good luck on yours.
Thank you.
Know. That's good. Yeah, being able to pass something on is. Well, it's a good feeling, isn't it? You know, to see people grow up and
exactly. It's really joy to see that everyone's growing up. Yeah, growth process in a way, because their mind is definitely changed.
Well, see, that's the big thing of putting structure, because maybe most of them really had no structure at all.
No, well, they didn't have a hope, they didn't have a dream, they didn't have a job, no money at all. So they were just struggling with the daily life before. But now they can set up the goal as a dream, and then they can make an effort to that. They need the direction.
And they have mom to advise them to.
I hope I can give the good advice though.
Well, no, and you're in a unique position as being a foreigner as well, right? Because it's a little different from the local ate or mom or whatever. Because
and also we learned so many things internationally.
And maybe the way that you would give them advice might be a little different from the way that they would get advice. I found, you know, I've lived in Asia now for 50 years. I didn't grow up in Asia, but most of my adult life has been here. And I would say that I had the opportunity of learning from different cultures.
Exactly,
the way that they handle certain things, or the way that they would advise to give advice. And certainly I hope it's helped me raising my own children. You know? But that's because it is different. You know, every culture is different, and like I said, the advice you're going to give them is going to be different from the advice.
And then we can learn something
And you learn from them as well.
From different cultures.
Yeah.
Yes.
Maybe you're always surprised.
That's right. Surprised, but then we learn like adjusting.
That's good. Yeah.
Right.
So you said right now you've got six altogether
Right.
and moving, but then how do you turn over your staff? You're always looking, or the 11 organizations are coming up and say, hey, Yachiyo, we've got a lady here that maybe you can use or whatever. And they're working with other places as well, with like Messi Bessie and Virlani and the other places as well.
Right.
Good, yeah. Have you've done work with Virlani as well, right? You've had their people
together, like almost 2.5 years.
2.5 years with them. Yeah.
Yes, there are 2 survivors from Virlani.
Oh, really? Oh, yes. Oh,
Yes.
really? Great. Yeah.
Yes.
And you're kind of the graduation from Virlani, right? I mean, they come off the streets to Virlani.
That's right.
And then from Virlani they come to you.
That's right. So that like a step by step, like a milestone.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
Because the reason why we established the Uniquease, social enterprise is because not the stepping on, but then take care of those youth after the NGO taking care of the children.
Right.
Because they need to be independent.
Yeah,
somehow.
because they've moved from being children to youth.
Right.
Right.
Exactly.
I guess, yeah.
Growing.
That's a nice term, children to youth, because
That's
they're no longer little kids or little girls or little boys. They are youth and young youth.
That's
maybe at a dangerous time, because they can either get in really big trouble or
exactly.
and left on their own, they might very well do that, I suppose.
Yes, because I've been seeing some, especially boys tends to go back to street after graduation or after being taken care. Then I don't know where he is, or some people might be missing. So
yeah, and they go back with no structure again.
Right.
And so if they can come into Uniquease, there's a structure. Hey, you got to be here at a certain time, and if you're not here on time, Ate Yachi will be scolding you, I suppose.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
How do you one of the problems that we do have here is people have a hard time keeping certain times.
That's right.
How do you handle that?
Basically, I talk to them, but then once they just disappear, I cannot do anything. So I just inform each organization, and then they will follow up. Somehow they have a connection and a network as well through the friends of the person. So they're going to find the person, and then they will talk to them.
Find out they're okay.
They need to do the counseling as well.
What's the youngest that you take somebody at your place?
So far, 15 years old or
15? Oh, really? Really?
Just a short time for the summer vacation this year.
I
temporary, because they needed the school fee.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, so I just gave me a little bit chance for them to get get used to how to work, as well as they can little bit amount of money so that they can pay for their tuition.
I see. I see.
Only 1.5 months.
I see. When most of these kids they're not going to private school or anything, going to public school, right?
Yes.
What are the costs of public school now? I don't have any idea. What?
Less than 10,000, I would say, through the year.
For the whole year,
Yes.
10,000. But that's 10,000 is a lot of money for
Yes, for them, of course.
for kids
yes.
that don't have anything at all.
Exactly. Yes. So
And
sometimes
there
they
aren't
have
any
scholarship.
organizations who help out with that either. And that's. But the biggest thing is food as well, right?
Right.
And these kids, if they're living out on the streets, they're maybe not eating so well, I suppose.
Well, street kids, basically, street children should be taken care in the center.
At the center, at like
right.
Virlani or
Yes.
one of the
there
other
are
places.
two things. Yes, that's right.
Yeah.
Virlani Foundation have a center to take care of those children.
Right, right.
It depends on the category, like the trafficked children or abused children or street children. They have a.
Well, I know they have different houses for
right.
each of them, and I remember Cree told me that they put her in a baptism of fire when she came back from the States after learning how to do this business. She went back to that famous moving company in the U.S. that was made by drug addicts and convicts.
It must be shocking.
And she learned how to handle, and she got the ideas. She came back and talked to Dominic, and he says, "Okay, here I'll give you." And he gave her the very worst where it was trafficked, girls who had been trafficked, you know,
That's
and
right.
she said that was quite an experience, but maybe a good one, you know, from, it was a baptism of fire, I suppose.
Right.
And trying to, you know, it's really difficult in something like that not to let your heart fall out and your tears fall when you're trying to help somebody, because that doesn't help either,
That's
does
right,
it?
exactly.
You have to be strong and you have to be
challenging
firm.
part.
And that's the
Make the
part, a
balance.
lot of people don't understand what it is to work with disadvantaged people.
That's
They think
right.
it's going to be easy.
Right.
And they think those people are going to love you for it. Not true in either case. It's not easy, and they don't love you. No, they do not love you. And gaining that trust is the hardest
Really
part,
hardest,
according
yes.
to Dominic and Cree and
Right.
anybody that's ever done it. And I
Right.
understand that, because why would I trust a suit? If I'm out on the streets,
That's
why am
right.
I going to
Like a
trust a guy that
survivor.
comes through wearing a suit and say, "Hey, I'm going to take care of you, son"? You know, probably there's no reason for them to trust me.
That's right.
There isn't, you know. And so it
They
has
may
to be.
follow for a while.
Yeah,
But
right.
then once they discover something, they just disappear.
Exactly, you know,
It may
and
happen.
but Dominic had this great story about this one kid ran away several times, you know, and finally, but he went back and found him every time, you know. He himself did it, you know, Dominic did. And he said on the third or fourth time, the kid says, "Gosh, I guess this guy really cares about me. I guess he really does
Right.
care about me." And then became one of his trophy. I mean, one of the great success stories, you know, that he had.
Right.
And that's really true. Your job is just as hard as theirs is, really, getting them to believe that you care enough to
Right.
do it, you know.
They
And-
tend to forget the hope, short period of time.
Right.
But then they realize, we have to work. You know, that kind of repeatedly things
work is
happen.
not so good. You know? No, I know, yeah, and
Right,
it just takes.
right.
You don't do it in one shot. But you, as you said, if somebody leaves and then they call you back another month or so, and say, "Hey, can I come back?"
That's a
or-
debating part.
Yeah, that's do I want to do
person
that, or
yes.
should I do that, or whatever?
Right.
And that's the hard part, isn't it? Yeah.
Yes, exactly. Especially food business, because we have to take care of sanitation, hygiene, and then the customer service, of course, cooking skills, you know, everything. You know, like that. We're supposed to establish the company for the youth job opportunity, but then eventually, this is the training program for me.
So maybe you're spending more. The times that I've been there, and I listen to you, it seems like you're training 90% of the time and cooking the other 10%
Yes,
of the time, right?
exactly.
Or preparing food.
Don't put it there. Wash by mineral water. Wash your hands first. You know?
Boy, there's something as
just
simple as
scroll-
washing your hands and
That's
doing
right. Yes,
those
we very
basic things
focus on
that are really important, especially in food handling.
That's
that,
right. We don't want to do the food poisoning, you know.
Well, I'm happy you're not going to do that to me if I'm going to go there. But no, that is a really hard part, getting them to understand
That's right.
that washing hands. But one of the things that we really need to remember is that we can't put these kids down for not knowing that, because doctors didn't know it 100 years ago, right, about washing hands and that sort of thing. And so we can't really, it's a matter of ignorance, not stupidity or anything else, or a lack of intelligence or anything like that. It's just a matter of, it's education, and learning it is a big thing.
Especially during this kind of typhoon season, lots of bacteria all
Oh,
over.
yeah.
So we have to be careful about that.
Do you have a second in command helper, or are you pretty much on your own?
I've been
or?
looking for him. Would you mind helping me?
I am an expert in the dining room.
Me too.
I know almost everything about eating. You know?
Yeah, me too. I spend a lot
I spend a
eating
lot
as
of
well.
time in dining rooms, but anything in the kitchen is a mystery for me.
I was a kitchen drinker before. You know, drinking and then
So,
creating
yeah,
things.
you know, that's
Yes.
Well, are you fond of chefing and that sort of thing? Is that
I liked cooking before, like, as I mentioned, but
Yeah.
then it's not the professional chef type. I've never been to the cooking school or culinary school, or just creating. And the hardest thing is like maintain the same quality.
Oh, well,
I
that's
love
in all
creating.
businesses and in all manufacturing or whatever. Yeah, quality tomorrow,
quality,
today,
yes,
and
quality
throughout the whole day.
control.
You know, it's not so easy either.
So,
you know? So
yeah, I cooperate with the youth.
okay, you know, maybe
Already.
you've made my dream come true.
Yes,
we
that's
had we had a good talk, and you know, our time is running out. But I just wanted to tell you how happy I am that I
Thank you very
we
much
finally
for
were able to
inviting
make
us.
the time for you to
That's
come
right.
on here. And I promise I'll keep coming by and having lunch
Sure,
there,
that'd
if
be
you don't mind.
appreciated.
If you
Thank
don't mind.
you.
And
Yes.
and for anybody out there, if you've got the chance, they're on the very near the corner of General Luna and Makati Avenue. You go there, eat. You're never going to be disappointed, but it's always all for a good cause, and you're going to see the sort of training that these young ladies are getting and young men are getting in that place. And so, Yachi,
Nice
thank you
talking
so
to
much.
you. Thank you very
so
much
much
for
for
inviting
coming.
me.
And all you folks out there, as always, boy, thank you for inviting us into your homes. It wouldn't be any fun without you. And until I see, oh, wait a minute, I want to tell you, you know, we're now on Sky Cable on channel 213, along with, we're still at Destiny at channel 8 and channel 1 on GSAT. And so if you have 3 televisions, get them all tuned up tonight at 9 o'clock, and we'll see you there. And until then, straight ahead. Thank you.